Good afternoon from Elmley. Last visit before Christmas, so I had to get it in. And you can join me on my drive out of the reserve. We're now past 3. And yeah, it's been an okay day. No owls. Got a couple of guys waiting with their huge lenses. Whew. Got to be a 600mm there, prime. It's nice when you can afford that stuff, isn't it? So we'll go and see if there's anything on the track. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be 40-mile-an-hour winds, so and sunnier. And I don't particularly like bright sunlight. I would come out personally on a day which showed more cloud on the forecast. Don't like the harsh sunlight. So yeah, everything's really been cut back here. So anyway, let's open up my little list of reminders, because sometimes I've noticed when I've been doing some of my videos, I've been forgetting one or two little things. We're going to be a little rocky. Really hope maybe I should put my bag on my camera to stabilize it. Just don't go too bumpy. Okay, so first of all, we arrived and there was this kestrel, as it always usually is, hovering right above the cab. Should I call it my vehicle or cab, whatever? And I just thought, let's go crazy. Let's zoom all the way in, crop it as much as I possibly can. And it was hovering easily in the wind. Just keeping an eye over here on my left as I emerge from the tree line, because as you know, the barn owls, this is where they like to sit. It's very windy, so I don't expect to see anything, but I'm keeping my... Better watch this, because I ruined the audio the other day and I don't know how it came out all. Anyway, I think that should be safe there. I think it might have been rubbing up against something. So yeah, this kestrel, first of all, it was from the side. Ooh, shaking here. First of all, it was from the side, and then it flew above my cab, so I sort of reversed a bit and got underneath it from below. From the back, so I didn't get it directly on, but you can just see it's like cropped right in there, crazy. And as I moved up the path to, I think it was first or second gate, there were a couple of kestrels that were just sitting in the wind, and there goes my bag down there. A couple of kestrels sitting in the wind, poor things, you could see them blowing and they're just feathers going everywhere, and I was cropping in as close as I could, trying to get some sort of dramatic effect. One looks quite juvenile, and these guys, yeah, they're just totally used to visitors now, so they'll stop right next to the vehicles. And here I am with it to the right of me. I haven't had it where it's been 3 feet away on the fence post, but I'm sure that's very possible on another day. So I'm just sticking to film for now. I thought, should I take some photos? And I'm like, well, nah, just don't bother. So anyway, I think I saw a buzzard. There's definitely been some buzzards, but far away. The action here has been all marsh harrier. It's been lots and lots of marsh harrier action. I think I read some people coming here doing the roost count, where they go into roost in the reeds in the distance at like 115. And I mean, I'm sure I saw 20 or 30 today alone. So yeah, it was all sorts of, they were gliding, going down on the ground. There were 3. I think I caught a section where there were 4 or 5 together, and they were bouncing up and jumping up in the air, going down. Maybe juveniles having a bit of fun. I don't know what I mean. Just staying out the wind, I guess. I'm not sure. And yeah, there was a bit later on where I thought it had some prey. I quickly grabbed my camera because I saw something dangling from some talons, and it dropped down, and there were 2 or 3 of the marsh harriers, and it was just some sort of bit of plant, a bit of twig. Looked quite skeleton-like from a distance, but when you zoomed in, it just looked like a bit of scrubby, branchy stuff. I don't know, but it kept going over and picking it up and sticking its wings up and looking at it, and like as if it was playing with it, practicing. I don't know. And the landscape changes with all the different animals. Sheep, cows, and they've introduced pigs, which I haven't seen yet. Love to see those. But today it was sheep, as far as the eye could see, from the, gate 1, 2, I think it's the 3rd gate, isn't it? Just so many sheep, hundreds of sheep. And at first they're a bit funky about me approaching them, and then after I'd driven through 4 or 5 times, they're like, oh yeah, that black cab. So they were cool from then on. And I've just been kind of filming anything that I'm getting my practice in, any flocks of things I see. There's a massive starling murmuration over there now. I've been filming anything I see, so just to sort of practice and get the numbers and species count. And there were a load of common shell duck on the southern section, just resting. I mean, there's been lots of birds resting in big flocks. So common shell duck on the south side, and as you come further up the path, just before you get to the little drive up to the tree line, loads of curlews. And I think I can see something on a fence post over there. I'll get alongside it, see if it's a short-eared owl. That unmistakable, I can still see marsh harriers flying around in the distance. That unmistakable thing, you know, when you're a birder and you get, you know, post, and then this one post is thicker at the top and that sort of that size, and you're like, okay, there's a bird there. But anyway, just before the tree line, loads and loads of curlews, some ringed ones and some not ringed. So we're just going to grab my camera and have a look at what that looks a bit dark to be an owl. So let's have a look. You are a marsh harrier. I think that's a marsh or a buzzard. So you can not panic there. So yeah, loads and loads of curlews. I filmed those for a little while, just see if they would do anything unusual. Try and get 2 in the shot, 3 in the shot, 4 in the shot. And yeah, at first they were very jumpy when they saw this big black thing coming over the mound. And eventually I turned my engine off and sat there for a while, had a drink of my tea. They cooled down and then they started coming closer. I started to feel the frame more. And yeah, they were feeding with the pheasants. So many pheasants everywhere and anywhere. Everything, almost everything that moves. If it's not a hare, it's a pheasant here at the moment. It's very dark now. It's yeah. So what's next? Yeah, went into the car park just to do a little round, see if anything was going on. And chaffinch came right down onto the ground. Somebody had sprinkled some seed, and I thought it was picking up some grits to help digest food, but it was a sunflower seed. And as I sort of looked up, well, oh yeah, I can see lots of little bits of seed along the path, and other birds were coming down, mostly. See, I'm trying strictly not to say ums and ahs. Pause, think about it. House sparrows were coming down, and I could see blue tits in the trees wanting to come down as well, but I think they're a bit more frightened of me. So the chaffinch on the ground, and I thought, let's try and film right up close to their face. And with that, my long lens is a bit difficult, but I kept zooming. Every time I sort of got the zoom and got the focus, they came closer, and I had to sort of bring it back in, and probably got a couple of seconds there, a couple of seconds there. But yeah, and just where the men, where the males. But they're right there. They're getting so used to people now. And then the little parade of mallards came round, and they started feeding as well. And I'll talk about them afterwards. They were just at the cab feeding. They've got their very particular food they like, but I'll talk about that a bit later. And again, yeah, there are loads of hares running around everywhere, and some hiding in the grass and some bold as brass. You think, you know, you look over and you see a kind of mound, and sometimes it's a male pheasant, sometimes it's a hare. And a little surprise, I've seen a couple of spooked snipe, and I thought it was one of those. Small bird, wader, landed on the edge of them. This is why I thought it wasn't a snipe, because it was a bit dark. It landed on one of the ponds on the edge, which is unusual, because usually a snipe will go straight into reeds. And sure enough, when I zoomed in, I thought it's going to be a common sandpiper. Maybe it'll be a green, and it was a green. And if you're not familiar with the common sandpiper, the sort of giveaway is there's a triangular bit of white on its shoulder, if you want to call it shoulder, and the green sandpiper doesn't have that. It's kind of like uniform line of kind of grey-green going across the body. So yeah, green sandpiper, that's, you know, you look for little unusuals that, you know, make the day interesting. Yeah, a lot of marsh harriers going around here. And loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, thousands of lapwing flocks going up. It's probably not worth filming at this time of night, it's too dark. And semi-largest flock, you don't normally see this many, of Egyptian geese off to the north of north of the path. And they were, yeah, just hanging around. Usually you see a couple, maybe 4 at most, but there was a flock of about a dozen. And off to the left of those was, on its own, a greater black-backed gull having a bath. So just, and as I drove past a couple of times, it was there most of the day. Strange. And then I just, like I said, I filmed anything going by just to sort of practice my panning, for smoother panning, to sort of, you know, my lens is quite funky with the image stabilizer kicking in. So if you're going right, it's going, okay, we've got to compensate, and just trying to get it so you can find that nice point of smooth tracking. And I just practice on the grey legs and the Canada geese, and I think there was some common shelduck. And I'm just, I'm hoping for, again, lightning to strike twice for a, what is it called again? What is it? Hen harrier, male hen harrier, which I got last time, which was a lifer. Not the species, because I have the ringtail, the female. But you a grey wagtail on the ground there? No, there's a lot of gravel on the ground. I kept thinking it might be skylarks or linnets, but it's just been a bit of gravel. Oh, it's very grey now. Yeah, the day is over, so we're just doing a slow drive out. Yeah, I thought there was a bird near the entrance when I like to go out through the gate, and the guard on the gate is usually like, "I'll see you later," and I'm like, "No, I'm coming back. I'm just going to go check out on the road," because there is a tree line on the road, and there's things happen in that area. You know, sometimes in the past, as you remember, when I used to get here, I'd get 20, 30 species just before I'd got in the gate. So I always check that area for stuff going on. There are ponds and trees, and that's where I got fieldfare and chaffinch, and you know. I think you can see that. The marsh harrier flying next to me. Yeah, there was a feather. Looked like I thought was it a dead bird, or was it a bird landed on something? Like, it looks like a kestrel tail or something like that. I'm sure I saw a dead rook. So a couple of dead birds going on, but yeah, just some random sort of kestrel feather or pheasant feather sticking up that I checked out. It didn't move, and it was I don't know if it's the dead bird underneath it or just a big clump of like a tail feather. And there's, I mean, I managed to finally get a couple of snipe, and where you get them by the edges of these ponds or these areas that are flooded, if you look on the edge and there's a little clump of reed, look at them closely, because you might see that very lighter beige color with the rounded head and the little dark eye. And sure enough, I caught a couple, one pretty close, just on the big S-bend of the track. And yeah, I lined in on it for a while. When it didn't move, it just kind of looked at me, and it's pretty good, but it didn't get spooked and fly away. And there was another one by the entrance. Again, it was on the edge of this flooded area, bit of river, and it was the one clumpy area where there was some stuff going on the edge for it to hide in. And yeah, I checked that. I can see it. Yeah, it jumps out. The lighter beigey colour they are, it does stand out. So they might think they're camouflage, but you can spot them. And that big eye is the giveaway. And then you start seeing the brown stripy pattern. Hoping for jack snipe. There's been a couple of jack snipe spotted, and you'll have to look online for how to spot the difference. But shorter, thicker bill, and a bit more kind of like dark brown going on the head and the back. And yeah, I mean, I got some seriously good practice today with my manual focusing ring and my new, if you see one of the previous videos I did, where I assigned autofocus override to the star button on the top right, which you would normally use for locking exposure. I saw a little bird going around the trees on the, what is it, the little sparrow feeder bucket. I don't know if it's for sparrows or what, but the sparrows are often there feeding in this blue bucket that's hanging. And there's a name for this bit of the path where the trees go up the middle of the reserve. I don't know I can't remember what that's called. But this Goldcrest was in there for about 5-10 minutes. And I just, thumb on the manual ring, and occasionally I would let go of the autofocus button, because if it came out from the branches and the twigs, it could then focus on the Goldcrest, and then I would hit the autofocus override to stop it refocusing anymore while the Goldcrest was in that plane of focus. And yeah, it was hard to tell, because sometimes the Goldcrest was going backwards or forwards. I couldn't remember which way focus forward or focus backwards. So it was a case of, you've got to have pretty good eyesight, because you've got to be able to see through the digital viewfinder that you are focused on the bird. The bird is sharp, and you got to have pretty good eyesight. But luckily, I have got good eyesight, so I'm able to sort of judge it, and I filmed it for about a minute and a half. Exceptionally good practice, the kind of practice you need to get good at that. And there were bits where it sort of hovered and flew, and hopefully, because I film in 60 frames a second, I'll be able to get that on the computer and save it for 3-4 second clips and edit all together, like I did with the marsh tip from a couple of days ago. Oh, you've not seen? No. Bow Beach comes later tomorrow. It's now Saturday. The Bow Beach video will go up tomorrow, and yeah, I got marsh tip there. You'll see, I got a lot of practice with my manual settings. And before that, the Firecrest I got from Danson Park, where I got a lot of. This was before. Yeah, it was actually, funny enough, I think it was before my, I can't remember now. I think the Danson Park might have been before my focusing ring, but I still was getting into the manual focus with the button. I was using the button, but I didn't have the ring anyway. I'm waffling a bit now. So that pretty much sums it up. And I mean, I'm very happy with today, even though no owls. The green Sandpiper, good marsh harrier action, the Goldcrest, Snipe, and it's just, I mean, yeah, when it's weather like this and it's not too windy, that's why I come here in the car. I've tried not to go back to Elmley all the time. I will save it. If I look at the weather and it says rain today off and on, then two things: I know there are going to be fewer people there to compete with. Sorry about that, something I never considered. You're probably wondering what's going on with the camera. It kept going lower and lower and lower. And the selfie stick is obviously losing some friction over the years. And I'm obviously, every bump I go over, it goes down a bit more and a bit more. And it wasn't until that last second you saw where I've cut. I'm like, wait a minute, what's this doing? Is this definitely getting my head? I'm wondering, because I can't see the screen. So I just checked the video, and you can still see my eyes. So I won't go back and record it because it's so dark. Anyway, point is, like I said, with the weather, there are fewer people here when it rains, and there were only about 3 or 4 cars. So that means more stuff is going to come out onto the track. And also, when it rains off and on, you can still do some birding, which you can't do if you're on foot. So hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see Elmley in the new year probably. And this after Christmas, I think, you know what, it's the same kind of weather. We'll go back and check out Elmley the weekend before New Year's. Okay, so it won't be Merry Christmas, because I might do another vlog before then. I'm quite ferocious in my output at the moment. I like to do editing and get practice. So if I don't make anything before then, I'll say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If not, probably very likely I'll upload something before then. So I'll get it in just in case I get hit by lightning or eaten by a crocodile. Okay, so hope you enjoyed. See you next time.